How do you justify sleeping with multiple people if you are in an open relationship? That's a topic I'm going to be covering today. Welcome to the best part of your day. The best part of your day is you're attaining some enlightenment by watching these videos. Enlightenment, by its very different definitions, could be unburdening yourself from being unknowing or unwitting. You're lightening the load, the pressure of carrying things that are the suffering that you experience from not knowing things, and then shedding light upon something to enlighten something, all of which apply to your psychology. If it's the first time you're seeing me, my name is Ron John. I am the author of Relationships 101. I am the head trainer at Great Relationships University and 13 plus years dating and relationships consultant, and open relationships expert here in this channel. So why is it important for you to understand what is your justification for in an open relationship sleeping with multiple people? You don't need any justification for recognizing the simple fact and the simple truth that in the same way that you acquire friends, despite you having only 24 hours in a day, each and every single one of us have only 24 hours in a day. 10, 8, or 6 hours or so we spend sleeping, and much of which we spend doing our livelihood. Despite that, we still are unlimited in the way that we can communicate and interact with people, and some of which become significant in our lives. Some become so significant as to become friends. Some to become so significant as to become really good friends. Some become very significant to become best of friends. And some so significant as to become essential to your happiness, essential to your life, as to become your best friend. Despite you having many different categories of best of friends, you can pretty much only have one best friend. By definition, a best is one. And so what justifies me, for example, in an open relationship? What justifies me to be able to and have the enjoyment and the fun of and the uninhibited action, behavior of sleeping with multiple people? In the same way that you acquire multiples of friends, not requiring any more time that you have currently in your life. It doesn't require any more time from you to acquire more friends, more and more friends. You acquire, some of those friends become so significant as to become intimate, and some of them are so yummy that you become romantic. And it doesn't inhibit, you have no inhibitions about it at all, except for what society has taught you to inhibit yourself about. Society has taught you that you can only love one person. Society has taught you that you are a monogamous being. None of which, of course, is true. All of which are based on propaganda. Monogamy, if we evolved to be monogamous, we would not need the word marriage. We would just pair bond with one partner and be with them for the rest of our life, not having any desire for anything at all. But of course, we've come up with things like religion, for example, that say that, hey, you must not covet thy neighbor's property or thy neighbor's wife. Or you must not cheat on your husband, or you must not cheat on your wife. These are rules. They say, we may not be able to punish you for being promiscuous, but we certainly can punish you after the fact of your living. So they came up with something they refer to as a God, in which you will be punished for punishable behavior once you're dead. So they come up with these things like the marriage contract and things that say that you must become property so that your heir, or the heir of the land or the property. You see, we didn't own land or property previous to the agricultural era, when we discovered agriculture, we discovered the idea, the concept, the abstraction, ownership. Before that, we were just egalitarian tribes. We could call it societies, but they were so small. They were tribes. We were nomadic, and we shared everything. Some people, they believe, because of evolutionary psychologists, they propagate, a lot of which are wrong, that because the male is much bigger, much more athletic, much more muscular, much more male, have the masculine energy, therefore they must be the provider, and the women be the receptor of this provision, because you've been taught that we evolved for the woman to merely provide offspring and for the man to provide for survival. In truth, in truth, we evolved to work together. Some tribes evolved, and even today we have tribes where the women were tremendously powerful figures in the society. We worked together to propagate our species. Now, leaving that alone, how can I justify my sleeping with multiple people in an open relationship? It's because my relationships are based on unconditional love. So, love is a word where each and every person which you ask what their definition of love is, you will have as many definitions of love as there are people you ask. In other words, love intrinsically has no meaning. Each and every person gives it meaning, and because that's the case, every word is an abstraction. Therefore, every abstraction is perceived differently by different individuals. So you ask about 100 people this year what their definition of love is, and I guarantee you will have 100 different definitions of love. So the premise of the justification of why I'm able to sleep with multiple people in an open relationship, and why I think that open relationship is the only format of relationship where you can practice unconditional love, is because my definition of love, and it's the most reasonable and effective and wonderful definition of love, is my wanting for my beloved's happiness intrinsically to my own happiness. What does that mean? It means that the same happiness that I want for myself, I want that for them. And so it denies any notions of jealousy or property or ownership, the ideas of ownership, because those are demonstrations of your lack of love. Your jealousy that they're doing things even with people they like, admire, and adore, perhaps romantically, but because they like to do it, it makes them happy, it makes them actualize and perhaps even fulfilled and on their way to living the biggest life they can. You're preventing that because of the ideas of ownership and jealousy. You couldn't possibly tell me that's a demonstration of love. That's merely a demonstration of your lack of love. So in the same way that you can acquire as many friends as you like, unlimited, despite you're only having 24 hours in a day, it doesn't have to do with time, you see. It only has to do with how significant your relationships become with people. Some relationships become so significant as to merit more and more of your attention, more and more of your energy, more and more of your time. And perfect. Some of them become so synergistic in your life and so synergistic to your relationships currently that you involve them in your life. And you involve them in your relationships currently. Some friends are so significant and you align with both of you or the multiples of you as to join, interact, and interface with the both of you or the multiples of you in the relationship currently. And then you have this fantastic, amazing relationship with multiples of people who are synergistic with each other. The only problem it only becomes a problem when it comes to a point where you have multiples of people in an open relationship that are not synergistic. In which case, it merits that they don't have to interact and interface with each other, and you can interact and interface separately, and that's wonderful and fine. You don't force anybody to like anybody else. So the justification that you have for being in an open relationship and having your enjoyment and ability and fun and morality, goodness of spending time with people romantically and sexually is wonderful and great, since you don't have limitations of friends, and some friends become so significant as to become very significant, and some are so yummy as to become, and simultaneously significant as to become romantic and sexual, and that's great. And just like you can acquire as many friends as you like, unlimited despite your time availability, you have the same exact premise for your relationships with your friends, whom are so significant and romantic as to become essential relationships. That's the video for now. Leave a comment below what your thoughts are, and please pay attention to our my sponsor for this video, my sponsor for my channel. As you know, I'm a huge proponent of Bitcoin. I'm a huge proponent, not necessarily cryptocurrency, but I like Bitcoin because of the usability, the premise, why it exists, and its tremendous, powerful asset format. And so I partnered with a company that I'm currently using, and I said this is tremendously a powerful service to provide. It's called BlockFi, and they're now providing a credit card which uses Visa. I'll provide the link below, and with this is the first credit card that is able to provide you 1.5% cash back, but in the format of Bitcoin, or really any currency that you would like. If you want to sign up for that, click on the link below this video, and if you have any questions about the topic which I provided, share them in the comments in the video, and I will talk to you on the next video.